Here he was out there with a quarter of black guys out there talking trash with him, and the rest of the fellas are sitting there going, hey, the boy bad, what can you say? You know, and I think what America saw in this guy was somebody who really didn't see race.
If you put all of us in a room, you know, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
Bird. We had a three-point contest at the All-Star break, and Larry walks in and says, I hope all you guys in here are thinking about second place because I'm winning this. Excuse me? And he started shooting, and he just didn't miss.
Larry was the originator of getting in your face and talking trash. And then you sit there and you go, well, this guy up in my face talking noise. He ain't that fast, he's slow, but he knew how to aggravate you, agitate you enough to get you out of your game.
I was guarding him my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, you can't stop me. And I looked at him and I said, gosh, boy, you're so confident. He goes, confident? You're a rookie. You don't know anything. He proceeded to score like 10 straight points on me. The coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
Larry Bird catches the ball in the corner. I take off running out at Larry Bird. And right when he's getting ready to shoot, I jump. And as I go by, him, he tells me, he says, fly, Bird. And I go right by him, and he shoots the ball. It's nothing but nylon.
Larry Bird was a pain in the neck. Anytime we had a chance to win, Larry Bird changed that.
Larry Bird follows his own shot. Oh,
there was a certain confidence you had because, you know, if you ever got in trouble, give the ball to Larry and get out of his way, and he'd deliver.
The double team in Bird. Larry, fake, fall away. Hits it at the buzzer. All right.
He was a cold-blooded killer. In the last 24 seconds, he would demand the basketball in the huddle.
Goes baseline, throws it up, and Larry Bird did it again! He did it again! Oh my goodness! He did it again!
He was a basketball genius. He'd be a step ahead, a thought ahead, play the game like a chess game.
Hard over the shoulder!
I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him. You have to get inside his mind. Larry wasn't quick, couldn't jump really high, but there was just some sleepless nights.
Bird takes the flop. It's gone. It is gone.
I remember the time when Larry got on the roll, started shooting the ball. Every shot was going in.
Goodbye, she's gone.
I guess the two-pointer was too close.
When he ran by the bench, he goes, that's a heat check. Just see how hot I am. All right, he runs by Frank Layden, who's the funniest guy in the league. And Frank is coaching, and Larry says to him, hey, Frank, don't you have anybody on that bench that can guard me? He goes, so nobody out here can. Frank looked down at the bench and goes, no.
Magic couldn't wait to give you the best smile and say, how are you, make you feel good. Larry Bird would rather say, don't even say hi to me. I'd rather not get involved with this.
The media begs off with Larry because they're very afraid of him. They're afraid to somehow or another infuriate him. They're afraid to ask the tough questions. He somehow or another has that way of intimidating the media as he intimidated players.
He's never said to me at any point in our conversations off the record, and I asked him once about that. I said, well, you know, why don't you ever hold back? Why don't you say off the record to me? He says, I don't care what you write. I don't read it.
Bird's unwillingness to back down from the media was an extension of his aggressiveness on the court.
Bird fights Kareem, swings the elbow, and now is yelling at Larry Bird.
You could never back down.
Jaw to jaw.
Once you do, people look at you different. You had to stand up for everything you believed in, and even if it's the one playing basketball. If somebody took the gloves off and wanted to go, you had to go. If you didn't, there's no use playing.
Bird's hard nose was never more visible than during a 1984 game with the 76ers when he took issue with Dr. J.
Larry was complaining to the refs, and I was complaining to the refs, and the next time down the court, he got in my face.
I was up 38-6. That's how I summarize it.
He wasn't out to play basketball for the money. He was out there to step up and win and look in your eyes and say to you, you can't beat me.
The '84 Olympic team is playing an exhibition game against a bunch of pros. including Larry Bird, and they were in the warm-ups. And a ball bounced down from the college end of the court to the pro end. And Michael Jordan went down to chase it. The ball happened to be picked up by Larry Bird. And Michael went up a few feet away from Larry Bird and held out his hands. And Bird took the ball and fired it back down the court over Jordan's head, as if to say, you're not only not getting this ball, I don't give a damn who you are. Larry Bird knows exactly who this guy is and what's going to happen in the next few years. And he wants to get every edge he can get right now.
Listen, I got a pulled hamstring, so I'm not playing tonight. He walks down to me. Man, I'm sorry you're not playing. But he said, I'm going to tell you what. Since you're here, I'm going to put a show on for you. So you just sit back and watch, okay? And I'm like, man, get out my face, man. I want to hear that. You know, that's Celtics and the Lakers. Every time he hit one, he look at me.
I was getting ready to start a game and get up to the jump ball, and Larry said, you know, just out of the blue, he goes, go ahead, Kevin, tell Elvin Hayes what you told me. And I didn't tell him anything. And I said, well, go ahead and tell him. Like, you said you were going to kick his ass. And I'm like, oh, man. And Elvin Hayes is looking at me. Well, at that point, it was hard to say, no, I didn't say anything. I said, I guess so. But, you know, Larry just got so started up. Larry is a funny guy.
He had unshakable confidence. If he could get his shot off, he felt like we was going to win the ball game.
The Celtics win it! As soon as Larry let it go, he virtually turns to the bench and he's looking over like, you should have had more than one guy on me. Bird hits and the Celtics win it! The three-pointer by Larry Bird at the buzzer.
I remember we were playing Washington in Washington one night, and Larry just hit what would have been the game-winning shot, but KC called timeout.
It won't count. It does not count. Boston had called a timeout.
Larry came back to the bench, and you know he was a little upset.
He looks at the bench and says, hey guys, when I come back after timeout, I'm going to go right to the same spot, and I'm going to kick it in.
He told Washington, I'm going to get the ball.
Yeah. 2 seconds left. The Bullets by 1. Aims to Bird. He gets a good shot in the Celtics winner. Boy, this is something else. Incredible. And Bird wins it at the buzzer.
How many people you know would talk to the other team like this and say, I'm going to stick it in your face?
And at the end of one of the trips, he had accomplished every goal. We hadn't lost a game on the trip. And Larry told all of us players, and the media too, we were all standing around waiting to leave. He said, tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed at least through 3 quarters.
What a performance by Bird!
And at the end of 3 quarters, the next night in Portland against poor Jerome Kersey, he had 27 points left-handed. And it was a remarkable performance.
Oh, man, Larry was so confident, so extremely confident.
Larry said, you guys want to win the game? Everybody said, sure. Yeah, absolutely. He goes, give me the ball and get out of the way.
They needed 3 to win it, and I got to play Larry. So I'm down in the post knowing that he's going to come off of a pick. So I'm holding his jersey, and I'm doing everything I can to block his path, whatever I could do to stop him from getting an open shot.
Larry Bird with a big three-point bomb.
Once the shot was airborne, I just knew it was going in. That's the nightmare that you have when you know a player like Larry Bird has an opportunity to get a shot off.
Hired in 1997, Larry Bird earned Coach of the Year in his first season. He brought his team to the verge of defeating the defending champion Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals.
When the Pacers hit the shot, and Bird just sat there and did not move. To me, that was so Larry Bird. He was the one calm guy in the place.
He's made so many last-second and heroic shots himself. I think he was more so thinking about the next situation.
We'd won the game, and he'd won it in almost spectacular fashion, which Larry could do. I said, Larry, how do you make all those shots? Just like that. He said, I do all that all the time.